Hello, 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 hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining in from. I'm so excited that you're here today, and we're going to be talking about so many beautiful things. Today is for blended families. I call them warriors. Blended family warriors. If you've got a partner, friend, colleague, cousin, anyone, auntie, uncle, that is part of a blended family, this one is for you today. Who's ready? Now, the Brady Bunch lied to us. They lied to us. If you're old enough to know the Brady Bunch, 6 kids, 2 adults, 1 house, and everybody's smiling. Alice the housekeeper solving problems in 22 minutes. That's not a blended family, guys. That's a fairy tale with better lighting in a few minutes over a lifetime situation, right? Real blended families, they're chaotic, they're messy, they're complicated, and according to the Bible, they just might be the most supernatural family structure that exists ever. And yes, I said so. So let's talk about it. Welcome back once again. If this is your first time, if this is your second time or repeated time coming, or if this is your first time, thank you for joining me today. My name is Adiola and I specialize in helping people heal childhood wounds. I coach blended families. I'm a soul awakener and an inner harmony expert is what I call myself. So I help put things back together in the ways that maybe was even or can be more beautiful than it originally was, because that beautiful part of you still exists. Now, over 50% of marriages today in 2026 involve at least one partner who has a child from a previous relationship. And that's millions of blended families trying to figure things out. Another fun fact is that 20% of those families make it past their first 5 years without major issues. So if you're in a blended family and it feels hard, you are not failing, you are normal. Yes? Now, so tell me your situation of your blended family. Are you living it and loving it? Are you considering it? Have you survived it? Are you scared of it? Are you just here for the tea? Which one are you? Living it, loving it, considering it, survived it, here, scared of it, and here for the tea. Now, the great thing is there'll be so many different spectrums of people watching this. And so I really want to talk about something, and it's the wound of the blended family. This is where the pain starts from. And let me tell you about the worst. I'll start with sharing my story. Yes? My blended family journey has been interesting. 11 years this year, And at different times, I knew that we were in trouble. But I think the one that really caught me was when my stepdaughter told my mother that she didn't want to speak with me anymore, that her grandmother had asked her to delete my number. And she said, "You're not my real mom. I don't want to talk to you again." When I heard her say these words to my mom, I initially wanted to collect the phone and, say to her, are you kidding me? But I froze and I stayed still. And why did I stay still, you ask? Because I realized that she was right. I wasn't her real mom. I was only the woman who had cooked for her, cleaned her stuff, helped her, sorted her out in school, showed up in school when she needed me. I loved her the best that I could in the last 10 years. But in that moment, I felt worthless. I felt invincible. I felt rejected, like an imposter in my own home. My mom looked at me and watched me in silence, and I had flashbacks, and just immediate memory of thanking God that at least I had my own daughter, my own biological daughter, I mean. And I was just grateful that she will never have to say such to me. And so if you've ever felt like you're playing house instead of actually being in a family or a family, I want you to drop a heart emoji in the chat. Now, this is stuff nobody's talking about at the wedding or before the wedding. Nobody ever called me to say there's a possibility that this is going to be said to you at any point. Nobody said to me that at some point they could look back and say, you're not my mother. I didn't know that, these are the things that happen. So in my 11 years journey and in my almost 5 years journey of being a blended family therapist, I'm going to share 7 things that I've found that are the wounds of most blended families that I've seen. And you probably are in one of it. I promise you, if not all of it, right? You might have gone through all the 7 stages at different times. So the first wound of a blended family is the loyalty conflict. This is where the kids feel like loving their step-parent means betraying their biological parent. And for them, it's this or that. But I dare say it can be this and that. Her and her. Him and him. Right? And it's brutal for the step-parent, especially when they've invested a lot in the relationship. But they're still fighting. The kids are still fighting, saying no. No. Now what is happening is that the kids they think love is limited. And because their hearts are not formed yet, in terms of knowing what is what, we need to teach kids that their hearts are big enough for multiple parental figures. We need to give them the permission to believe that. But that only takes time, patience, empathy, and love. Lots and lots and lots of love, by the way. The children don't know any better. And so as an adult, because hopefully at this point, because you would have gone through counseling and therapy, and they would have helped you to blend your beautiful family together, you then know that it will take time. The second wound is the authority conflict. Who is in charge? Who makes the rules? Can the step-parent discipline? These questions cause a lot of wars. I tried to ground my bonus son once. My husband agreed with me in the moment. And then I heard him privately tell my son, just listen to her this time. This time? Like I am optional, And so we had a come to Jesus meeting that night, because authority without unity is just chaos. Sometimes you say, oh yes, go and do it. No, we've got to enforce it together. We've got to be in it together. There has to be unity with authority. Unity is non-negotiable. If the kids see a crack, they'll drive a truck through it, honestly. Not because they're bad, but because, not because they're bad. Something in my eyes, guys. Okay. Not because they're bad, but because they're smart kids. So what will happen? I remember my daughter, one day she said, but mommy, you don't have to ask daddy, you're an adult. You can take a decision on your own and tell me to go without asking daddy. I said, no, daddy and I make decisions together. And so she walked away, shaking her head at me, upset. Right? It's age appropriateness, they say. The third wound, the X factor. I think my either hair has gotten into my eyes. Okay, it'll get better and easier. The X factor wound. This is where the former spouse is still in the picture. And sometimes they are very difficult. Let's not lie. Right? And so I'm not going to tell you that you should love your ex-partner or your partner's ex. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm going to tell you that how you handle them will determine the peace in your home. Honestly. Sometimes you might have to keep them at arm's length. And focus on yourself. Right? You can't control them or what they do. But you can control whether you engage in their drama or you rise above it. And I would implore you to rise above it. It's not worth it. The drama is not worth it. So we have the comparison trap, which is the fourth wound. His kids get more time than you. She loves her biological kids more. He spends more time with them than me. Everybody's comparing what they're getting from everybody. And this wound breeds resentment. And resentment is the poison to any relationship, right? Love doesn't have to look the same to be equal, my sisters and brothers. A bio-parent's love is different from a step-parent's love. Not better, not worse, but different. And that's okay, right? So if you focus on your lane, focus on your relationship with the different dynamics of the different people, then you'll be fine, because comparison will always steal your joy every single time. That you can take to the bank, right? The fifth wound is the hidden grief. Now, nobody talks about this enough. All blended families are born from loss and pain, death, divorce, broken relationships. Something ended for this new one to begin. And if you don't grieve what was, you will sabotage what is. Even when he knew that, even when you know that you are, it's 5 years or 10 years after, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. You've got to grieve it. You've got to. And it is different for different people. So you've got to give the family permission to mourn what was. And what was my dad and mom were together. We had an intact family. The dream that didn't work out, the life before the blending, you've got to give permission for that to really just, sit. And therapy is one great thing for you to do, to be honest. I can't emphasize the importance of it, so that it also gives birth to this new, and you can love your new family and still miss your old life, and it's still okay. Both can be true. I remember saying to my husband a couple of weeks ago that you haven't done any memorial service for your late wife. It's almost 20 years. He said, what for? I said, for the children. Let the children, because they were very young, 3 and 8 months when she passed. Why? It would be nice for them to hear people say things about their mother and let them think, okay, it'll be nice. So why not do that? And honestly, I cannot overemphasize the importance of therapy. It is huge, right? You really need a support system to make this work, because grief, loss is painful. The sixth wound is the identity crisis. What do the kids call you? What do you call yourself? Stepmom feels cold. Bonus mom feels forced. Dad's wife feels distant. What would we call you? Or do you call yourself? In my case, my kids were younger. And in Nigeria, everybody's auntie or mommy. So they'd already been calling other people mom. It just was easy for them to call me mom too. But in some other places in the Western world, it might be your first name, right? It's not that deep, I know that it's about belonging. I know, but belonging takes time. So allow the kids decide. Let the relationship develop naturally. Don't force titles. Earn them, honestly. Whether you like it or not, you're already in this family, so you belong. But being rooted takes time, so give it grace. Wound 7, the couple neglect. The marriage gets lost in the shuffle of parenting, co-parenting, and peacekeeping. So somehow, and unfortunately, you can become roommates who coordinate schedules instead of lovers who build dreams. Now, the couple is the foundation, my brothers and sisters. If the foundation cracks, the whole house falls. So your date nights are not optional, they're essential. Sharing personal time is non-negotiable. Scheduling yourselves before extra becomes extra important. Scheduling yourselves before your relationship with the kids is extra important. Because really, if the children see you guys thrive, then they thrive. If the children see you guys struggle, then they struggle. So drop a number 1 to 7 in the chat of which wound hit you the hardest. Is it the couple neglect? Is it identity crisis? Hidden grief? Comparison trap? The X factor challenges? The authority confusion? And the loyalty conflict? Which one hit home for you the most? So you remember the disaster I earlier mentioned? My mom sat me down and had a conversation with me and reassured me that you're part of this family and that you have done your part. Maybe it's time for you to step back, for other people to do other things and allow time heal the rest. And I looked at my mother and I said, Mom, I'm scared. I'm scared that I'll be called a wicked mother or a terrible mother or a failing woman. I'm scared to be seen as a bad mom. And underneath all my initial anger was this fear. The real wound was underneath all that anger. The fear of loss, the fear of failure, the fear of inadequacy, And when I named it, I thought, okay, is it really true? And the answer was no. I had done the best that I could for them, and still doing it. So step back and allow other people take control and let God do the rest. And so I started to heal that pain that I carried. And so we're going to be talking about that pain, So I know that I might have scared you already. You're thinking, so everybody is wounded. I'm wounded. The children are wounded. My partner is wounded. The ex is wounded. Should I just give up? My answer is no, absolutely not. Because here's what most people don't know. The Bible is full of blended families. And God used them to change the world. So let's look at the blueprint. Jacob's family, the OG blended chaos. Jacob had 2 wives, Leah and Rachel, and 2 concubines, 4 baby mamas, 12 kids, 1 tent. Can you imagine their family dinners, guys? And the quarrels. But guess what? From that messy, complicated, blended situation, the 12 tribes of Israel, God's chosen people, were born. Right? So God doesn't need perfect families. He needs surrendered families. Moses, raised by his stepmom, Pharaoh's daughter. Yes, she was not his biological mom. She was like a nanny/stepmother. So he had an identity crisis for a very long time. Am I Hebrew? Am I Egyptian? Who am I? Where do I belong? Does that sound familiar for stepkids? Yes. Now, God used that dual identity to position Moses exactly where he needed to be to free the Israelites. What about that? So sometimes your step-parent is the one who pulls you out of the water, literally or figuratively. So embrace them. Ruth and Naomi, the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law bond. Ruth was not Naomi's daughter, but she said this, where you go, I go. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. She chose Naomi as her family. That is covenant love. And that's what blended families can be when they move past biology into purpose and into destiny. And Ruth is in the lineage of Jesus, a Moabite woman, an outsider who became part of the greatest story ever told. So blended does not mean broken. Blended means God is doing something bigger than you planned. Joseph and Jesus, stepfather story. Let's talk about Joseph for a second. The man agreed to raise a child that wasn't his biological child, a child he knew wasn't his because Mary was a virgin. Talk about blended families, Quanta as we call it in Nigeria, and the chaos that would have come out of it. But Joseph didn't bail. He didn't resent Jesus. He raised him. He taught him. He modeled manhood. He protected him. So stepfathers, you are in the lineage of Joseph, the man who raised the Savior. And I really want that to sink in, right? Now, here's the theological truth that will blow your mind. Maybe God could have also been seen as a step-parent. And I'm thinking, you're wondering, what the hell is she saying? Romans 8:15 says, the Spirit you received brought about your adoption to sonship. And by him we cry, Our Father. Right? So we're adopted to sonship, into God's family. Right? Okay, so I'm just messing with you all. But think about it. Maybe there's something going on there. Right? Now, if God could love us in such a way, then it means that we can love others too in the way that God has loved us. So blended families require more grace, more patience, more intentionality than biological families. And that's exactly why they produce stronger bonds at the end. So the trial is part of the training. The struggle is in the strengthening. All that it strengthens us together. And your blended family isn't harder because you're doing it wrong. It's harder because you're building something supernatural. So let's talk real time. What's the biggest lie you have believed about blended families? Type in chat. And what's one thing you wish people understood about your situation? Someone says that it should feel natural right away. That's not true. It takes time. Someone says that love is enough, love is necessary, but that love is enough. The truth is, love is necessary, or love in action could be enough. But most of us were not taught how to love. We were taught how to trade. You give me this, I give you that. So love in that essence of trade is necessary, but not sufficient. You also need tools. You know, the active part of love is where the tools come into play. Someone says that the kids should just accept it. Guess what? The kids are grieving too. So you've got to give them space. Yes, keep them coming. I get a lot of questions that come through. And so some in between, I'm going to be answering them. So now that we've established that blended families are biblical, supernatural, and hard, I have to add that. Let's talk about how to actually make it work. Because theory is cute, but you need practical steps. You remember the tools I talked about? And this is a method that I use with all my blended families that I coach, and it works. So it's the 7 pillars of supernatural blending. The first pillar, couples first, always. Can I repeat that again? Couples first, always. And I know it sounds funny because for parents, we think kids come first. But no, it's not true. Kids come after the couple. In a blended family, the couple is the glue. Even in a normal family. But it's now more in a blended family. If the couples fall apart, everyone will suffer. The kids will lose stability again. Because don't forget, they lost it before. The family will dissolve, the wounds will multiply, and it just gets tougher and tougher and tougher, right? So what are some things that you can do as couples? Weekly date nights, non-negotiable. Daily check-ins, even if it's just 15 minutes. Hey babe, how are you? Over the phone. At the end of the day, it has to happen. Unified front on all decisions, which means that when you come together to speak, you are unified. You can privately disagree, but public unity. Physical affection in front of the kids, so important because it models healthy marriages in front of your children. Your relationship is the foundation, so you've got to protect it like the house depends on it, because it does. Pillar 2. Biological parents lead discipline. Can I say it again? Biological parents lead discipline. And this hill I will stay on and rest on, at least for now. Because in the early years of blending, the biological parent leading the discipline is for the good of the family and the kids. Why? Because the relationship hasn't been built yet. An authority without relationship is dictatorship and tyranny. So what are some things that you can do as a step parent? You observe and support, right? At the back, you don't take the lead, but you support whatever has been agreed. Bio parent enforces consequences. You are the one that will, we're going to beat them after you have agreed. We're going to caution them. We're going to take something away from them. We're going to discipline them. Bio parent does the main part whilst you support. Couples discuss discipline privately first. So behind the scenes, you agree, when they do this, we do this. When they do that, we do this. And then you come out together to speak. Step parent earns authority over time through relationship. Now, this usually shifts around maybe year 2, 3, when trust is established, but it's different in different families. Sometimes trust is never established. Never. Sometimes it takes a long time, right? The training is most effective when it comes from a place of established love and trust. So step parents, it doesn't mean that you're invincible. It just means that we're being strategic, right? And I like strategy, effective and efficient way to get your results with least effort and resources, right? Pillar 3, honor the bio parent, even the ex. And I know this is spicy, and I get it. The ex is difficult. They have hurt you before, hurt your partner, hurt the children. They're making life hard for you. I get it. But the kids are watching. And when you dishonor their parent, you dishonor them too, because they're half of that person too. So you don't only honor when other people are good. No, just honor, period. So practical ways to honor without agreeing. Never badmouth the ex in front of the kids, ever. As tempted as you are, don't call her that stupid woman, that foolish man. Not in front of the child. Refer to them respectfully, like your mom, not her or him. Tell him, your mom, speak to your dad, right? Facilitate relationships, drop-offs, calls, visits. I used to do this when I initially got married. And then I felt like, my openness was a bit uncomfortable to others. And so I removed myself from the picture and I allowed other people do it instead. But initially I used to do it. I'll take my kids to their grandparents, I'll take them to their aunties and even spend the night there with them so that, the bond continues. But like I said, when it felt like it was being abused, I had to step back because boundaries are important also. Celebrate the kids' love for their other parents. Tell them, I really love the way you love your mother. I see how you are. Say it to them. Then pray for your ex. Yes, it's better you pray for them, because don't forget they're in your life as long as they live forever. Right? So pray for them and pray peace for them. And pray for them to also find love somewhere else, especially when they haven't yet. Right? You don't have to be friends, but you have to be civil, I would say. And see what happens when you're civil. Somehow the peace over time just becomes nice, right? Pillar 4, intentional one-on-one time. Every person in the blended family needs individual attention. So the bio parent and their kids, step parent, step kids, couples alone. Sometimes kids together, sometimes whole family. You've got to create this bonding blueprint by doing this. Everybody gets their time with the parent, with themselves, but as a family, because you cannot force family bonding at the dinner table if there's no relational foundation. So, bio parent, weekly one-on-one with your kids. And if you can do it daily, please be my guest. If you're a very busy parent, then you've got to schedule the time. It's not quantity, it's quality. Step parent, you meet with your step kids too. Spend time with them. If they stay with you, like mine stayed with me, weekly, daily, check in. How are you? Okay? Just, couple, weekly date night. And it doesn't have to be anything expensive. Sit down, have a drink, light a candle, sit down outside, look at the stars, go for a walk, hold hands. Those are simple and cheap as that. Family, you guys can have date nights, game nights, movie nights, go on holidays together, hike together, a fun activity, play games, something. Unity is built, not assumed. Pillar 5, name and normalize the feelings. Now, blended families have big, huge feelings: jealousy, confusion, resentment, grief, fear, big feelings. And your job as the blended one is not to fix the feelings, but what you're meant to do is look for how to name it and normalize it. And it sounds like you're feeling left out. Just a sentence like that makes sense. I can see how you could be feeling left out. I can see how you miss how things used to be. I get it. You're not sure where you're feeling, right? Can we figure it out together? Imagine saying that to the kids, especially when they're younger and they're confused. Validation is encouragement, and kids need to feel seen before they feel safe. So create a feelings check-in ritual, weekly family meetings. Everyone shares one high, one low, one thing they're grateful for, and one thing they need support in. Make sure you have these check-in rituals. No fixing, no judgment, just listen. And watch how this transforms the emotional climate of your home. Pillar 6, traditions, traditions, traditions. Old traditions remind kids of what they lost. New traditions will create excitement for what they're about to get into. So your blended family also needs its own identity. What do you guys do together? Breakfast on Sundays, lunch on Saturdays, annual trip to a new place, holidays that are yours, that are fresh to you, not copied from the past. Oh, we go to the same church. I remember we used to go to the same church, and I was like, I didn't want to come here. I don't feel welcome here, right? Because I also had my own insecurities and my own fears. Create inside jokes and family phrases that are new to your family. Shared values and mission statements and vision for your new family, your creed. Create new stuff that is for this new family, right? Culture creates belonging. Okay? And 7, patience, 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 patience. Experts say that it takes 5 to 7 years for a blended family to fully integrate. In some cases, it's more. In some cases, it might be less, depending on how you started the foundation. If therapy was how you started it, chances are you got a better foundation than others who walked into it believing, like me, that love. My husband walked into it believing I've been married before, but he'd never been married to me. The children are also there. So there's so much going on. Okay, so if you're in year 2 and it's hard, or year 5 and it's hard, you're on track, my brothers and sisters. Don't let anybody tell you to pack your load yet. Don't give up yet. The breakthrough is possibly coming, depending on what you're doing to create the breakthrough. I say that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So you've got to pace yourself. So your 7 pillars: couples first, always. Biological parents lead discipline. Honor the biological parent. Intentional one-on-one time. Name and normalize the feelings, right? Traditions, traditions, traditions. Patience, patience, patience. Write it out and take a screenshot, or type it out and take a screenshot and print it out. Put it somewhere, design it, make it look beautiful, and put it on your fridge. Put it in different places that you can look at, so that it will remind you of all the things that you need to do and the patience that you need to have. And don't forget, we're not winging this, we're building this with God, right? So now, Here's what I'm going to ask you to do as a challenge, a family challenge. The whole family, yes, kids too. It's creating the blended family vision board. So supplies that you'll need: poster board, magazines, scissors, glue, markers, and this family to be. No criticism of anyone's choices. At the end, everyone shares their vision. You create one master vision board together. It'll be so beautiful. I remember doing this with my kids, and we all came up with ideas. So what do we want this family to be? Localize does three things. It gives everyone a voice. It reveals hidden hopes and fears. And then it also creates a shared vision. And I want you to put it somewhere visible, frame it up, make it a big picture. Let people see it when they even come to your house and say, oh wow, this is the vision of this family. And they see how you guys are working towards it in your dream board. And you can go back to it and refer to it. When somebody forgets, you remind them, remember, this is our vision. Yes, you remind them in love. And then watch how your family will move towards it. Because the Bible says, where there is no vision, the people what? Perish. So you've got to do this. Let me share a story about a family that came to me struggling. Mom, dad, two kids of his and one of his and two of the mothers. The kids hated themselves. The exes were toxic, the couples fighting daily. It was a huge mess. We implemented some of the things that I've taught you today. It was hard. Tears, setbacks, arguments. But they committed to it. And after 18 months, not 18 days or 8 days, 18 months, here's what happened. The kids started defending each other in school. No, don't talk to my sister like that. The stepson asked the father to adopt him legally. The husband and wife, their relationship got stronger, for sure. They even co-hosted a holiday meal with both exes present. But it was peaceful because the family had taken structure and taken control. That's what counseling and therapy does for you. Their family became a testimony at church. And last month, the husband sent me a video, all of them in hands, holding themselves on holiday. And they were singing, we're the XYZ family. We're not a blended family. We're the XYZ family, period. And they were clocking it and all the works. And I cried because, everything is possible if you agree. And that's the supernatural work that God is asking us to take over today. And if God can do it for them, He surely can do it for you. Now, I've got some questions that people have sent to me in the past. What if my stepkids refuse to bond with me? Give it time. Go and listen to this message. Give it time. Listen to the message again. It takes time, right? It takes time. As long as you continue to love, no matter what, every time you go back there, the deposit of love that you have made will always be there. So you give it time. Love yourself. Give them space and allow them come to you. Earn it. How do I handle different parenting styles? Someone asked me. You've got to create it. You've got to create what works for you. Everybody's different. Everybody's parenting style is different. Go for therapy and get learning. You can't do anything without knowledge. So go for knowledge and use that knowledge, assimilate it, right? Accumulate the knowledge, assimilate the knowledge, which is understanding, and then apply it, which then makes you wise. Should I adopt my stepchildren? Somebody asked. It's up to you. Depending on how old they are. Of course, if they're after 18, you can't. But if they are less than 18, if you want to, and the bio parent allows you to, then go ahead, right? Why not? Go for it. Do what works for you and what makes you comfortable and what makes you happy. And even if you don't, doesn't stop you from also being the step parent. You are there. You're in their lives, whether you like it or not. At least for as long as you are with them, right? Now, what if my partner won't do counseling? That was a question that somebody asked. Guess what? My husband also didn't believe in counseling or therapy. But I went for it anyways because I knew and I understood that if I shifted, every other thing around me would shift. And that's exactly what happened. I've got to be honest with you, right? So I went for all kinds of, till today, I'm doing courses just to keep brushing my knowledge on how to talk to them, how to apologize, how to different things, right? And teach them. Okay? So now remember the beginning where I talked about the Brady Bunch lie? Real blended families are better than the Brady Bunch because real blended families are real. The Brady Bunch was something that was created. And why are you real? You're raw. It's hard. It's complicated. And that's exactly why you're doing a supernatural thing, right? You're doing a supernatural thing. So your blended family isn't a backup plan as you think. It's part of the plan that God has for you. So I want you to put your hand on your chest and take in a deep breath. In and breathe in and breathe out. And I want you to repeat after me. My blended family is not broken. My blended family is being built. My stepchildren are not my burden. My stepchildren are my blessing. My struggle is not me failing. My struggle is me learning. And we are chosen, we are covenant, and we are family. Now go and love your people, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, guys. It is worth it all at the end of the day, I promise you. Take it from me who wanted to walk out of it years ago, right? But I wouldn't be here if I'd walked out of it years ago. I wouldn't have learned the things that I learned. I probably would have gotten into another relationship and had to learn the whole thing all over again. So I'm grateful that I stayed. Now, next week, we're going to be talking about something that nobody tells you. The fertility secret nobody talks about. And so if you know anyone trying to conceive, struggling with infertility, or curious about the connection between trauma and your womb, this is going to be very powerful. So come with tissue papers, with a notebook and your blue pen, and so that you can write things out. Don't forget, I will be dropping something for you in the chat that is a gift from me to you. And I hope that you use it. Subscribe, share me with others, and click the notification bell so that you get alerted when we have new videos coming out. Okay? I love you, and your family is worth fighting for. My name is Adiola Kingsley James. Love and light. See you next week.